Hello, hello. I can't hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Sorry, I had to reset my audio for some reason. That was weird. Um, I was just wrapping up a call before this, so
Yep.
starting a tiny bit late because I am like clients today.
Yes, 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 yes. It happens. It happens.
So I think in the group I had said we could talk about let me back up. I feel like I said something we were going to talk about on this call on the last call, and now I cannot remember what it was. But
I think on the last call I had something that I had in mind, but I've forgotten it. But we were going to talk about detox and like the should around detox, which is very funny because like
okay.
just before it came up in the group, I had a thought along those lines where I was just like, um, why do I detox sometimes? Why do I like not trust my body? Or and then I
Perks
was like,
reactions. Okay. I know what you're talking
yeah,
about now. I thought you were
oh
talking about
yeah,
just generally detoxing. I'm like, yeah, no, okay, cool. I'm
yeah,
on
yeah.
that
Well, I
page.
mean, like, yeah, super, super, like doing something, taking an herb, taking a protocol, taking a pill, taking a supplement. I love supporting with like uh coffee enemas and like it's kind of one of my weak spots anyway, but like I kind of realized I'm like, oh, I have this sense that I can never be forgiven for all the McDonald's I ate when I was a teenager. I'm like,
Also, why the hell would your body? This is my okay. Logic has never failed me, okay? Ever. Like and my favorite person to follow probably ever is Dr. Bradley Campbell on Instagram. Like probably ever. He's a chiropractor and I just me and him vibe. Like I'm like we have the same love languages and everything, I'm sure. But like he has one phrase that I stole and I'll credit him. I always use it with my clients. I'm like he says do your drugs with intention
hmm,
and that set me free from all kinds of like bull crap around at least like sometimes when I'm in a place where I can't control what I'm about to eat or can't control what I'm about to do, it's like, okay, you're gonna be okay. Like, for
yeah,
example, if I am like at a dance competition, I want to be there. I want to see Jane. I want to support her. I don't want to be there freaking out that I'm getting frequency poisoning, which was the norm the entire first year that we started dance competing. I'm like, it's gonna be the hell of my life. I'm gonna get frequency poisoning. Like, and I did get it all the time. And then the next year, I used that mindset and got it none, like zero. I
hmm,
don't even so much as get a heart palpitation now. And I don't wear my EMF protection because I did an experiment on myself. I used to throw like all these bioharmonizers in her bag and got,
yeah.
I bought the blue shield that was like 20 feet around me that I was like, I'm going to take in the audience and all this stuff. And anyway, I, by some grace of God, my blue shield got thrown away at a dance competition. This is no lie. I bought a $600 EMF device, little one that slips into like your pocket. And somehow in the pickup of trash and food, it got thrown in the trash can. And I was like, oh my God. So
Uh,
anyway, not only did I financially stress myself out through that chaos, I like, because who wants to be out $600? I
Right.
also like didn't really get results. And it was because my mind was overriding. And I actually just coached on this morning. And so the other thing on that is that the other thing that he says, in addition to do your drugs with intention, and like, oh, where was I going with that? He has this like, oh my gosh, it was like, it was on the tip of my tongue and you reminded me. I'll think of it in a minute. But I had a very clear cut thing in response to your take this, take that, take this, take that, that he says.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's Dr. Cassie Huckabee. She said something very similar. I just can't think of his phrase. She says, your life is your
Your
medicine.
life is your
So,
medicine. I love her.
like,
Yeah.
she's my other favorite, even though she can be a bit like amiable for me. Like, she can be a bit like this way, that way. It's all okay. And I'm personally not wired that way.
Mhm.
But anyway, I resonate with what she's saying about your life being your medicine. I was just coaching on a call today, and it's interesting. I had a client and so on her bioscan, she calls me and she's always like, I know I'm reacting to dairy and I know we have like this strep thing going on, like ongoing, because she got functional medicine tested 5 years ago and that's what she had going on.
Uh,
Here's the deal. What's crazy is this morning, and I could show her a scan. She did scan for a very high resonance with dairy reactivity and strep and gastritis and a couple other things. And she's like, I'm getting bloated when I eat, and I'm getting bloated after I eat, and when I eat dairy and all this stuff. And I said to her, like, I pushed the methatherapy. I had her say to herself, I am myself, only myself, and I am safe to process life, this life God gave me. So this life, the life she's in right now, like,
mhm.
and pushed out 5 times methatherapy and all those resonances went away. Like they're
Wow.
gone. So I'm like, okay, do you really have a dairy sensitivity in strep?
Mhm.
Or when we push out God in a box, which is like sun, the moon, and minerals, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, do you not? Because they go away. Like those frequencies go away. So that's no different than me, like, laying hands on you and being like, okay, like you're free of strep and all that stuff. And
Mhm.
then she's like, well, why do they come back? And I'm like, because then you leave this phone call and you go try to get back into the same life you've been in, having those reactivities for 5 years.
Yeah. You're
And
looking for
like,
it to come back.
yes. And like, and I mean, yes, it's a deep belief system at this point too. She's like, she
Yeah.
believes that. So there's that lab idol. But for the most part, it's the life. Like, she's like, yeah, me and my husband talk about moving. Yeah, we talk about this, talk about that. I'm like, okay, well, what about doing it? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I'm like, listen, I know not everything you can just up and do. I understand that. But there is a lot of stuff that you can. Like,
Mhm.
and if you're in a one person household with no custody and no paperwork and no risk of the law, you are free.
Yes. Yes.
They will say everything to me, and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Like, you can go do something different. You can go do something different. And then they're like, I hate you because that's true. And I'm like, it is true. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are those of us that cannot, and in that one instance, but I told her, I said, I said, I had the same problem. I react to dairy and gluten and other things, and I'm getting ready to cut them again. I said, but who knows how I'd feel if I could do what I want to be doing right now and going and sinking my feet in the sand on Rosemary Beach and making a party planning business. That's what I want to be doing, but that's not my life right now. You know what I mean? So when you say like, okay, you're all about supporting, that's why I support. I don't idolize the support. I support because as a gift to myself because I need to,
Mhm.
like, I mean, and that does sound a bit like I have to, which is fine, but I'm not mad at that have to because I'm like, what's it all for? Like, what would the alternative be? The alternative would be lose my kids?
Mhm.
No. You know what I mean? Like, the alternative's fine. I'll totally take some minerals instead of losing my kids being selfish moving to Rosemary Beach, right?
Right. Right.
Like, so I was like coaching her and telling her, like, if you are expecting to like supplement or protocol or have that way your way out of the life that then you get off the call or out of the group or out of whatever and you go do the same very thing again and
Yeah.
live your same life, good luck.
Well, it's all about being reflective and like seeing where you do that. So like the reason why I had a Herx protocol for like times that was from times that I have over detoxed myself. Like, oh, I put myself into this position. So like I think what you're talking about is kind of the prior to that almost piece to it. Like why did I do that? Because I was holding unforgiveness within myself. I was not allowing trusting that my body is going to like within 20 years or wait, no, it'd be like closer to 30 years flush out a little frickin' McDonald's. Like
Oh my
that
God,
is
I remembered it.
no, of course
I'm
it
not
will.
interrupting you. I remembered it. His saying is logic is fast, science is slow. Okay,
Oh,
that's what I was
yes.
trying to say. I'm like,
Logic
he's
is fast, science is slow. Yes.
ever since I heard that back in 2020, I have been functioning like that. So logically, my mind would say there's no way, knowing about how we crap every day, we
Mhm.
snot, we cry, we sweat, whatever, that your body would possibly have a 20-year toxin load. Like I
Right.
actually don't believe in that. Like I'm
Yeah.
saying you are free to believe in it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
anybody listening to this call and you too more, you're free. I don't believe in that. Like I'm like my body can't reconcile even the liver. Like when I first heard about doing coffee enemas, what hit me like a ton of bricks because I pray and ask Holy Spirit for like the insight to be able to teach. I'm like, was like, does my liver truly like how big would these toxins have to be? Like what would the
Mhm.
like I'm like, wouldn't your liver just bulge up to this huge size or have like mets or whatever on it? And then yeah, there's arguments or things like cancer and all that stuff. I'm not arguing, but I'm saying it's like so interesting to me, like logic wise 9 times out of 10, if I look at my scans, if you're having the toxin virus, the parasitic experience, if you can push it away with methatherapy or any therapy or an intention, or if you can clear yourself by saying, I'm Chelsea, only Chelsea, I don't care about that anymore, then your body cannot be possibly holding on to that except for in the mind. Like
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
literally, there's no way. And I have a theory about Herc's reactions. Theories. I love theories because I don't idolize them. I'm happy for them to be wrong. But I was so scared of coffee enemas, so scared because the doctor that told me about them, he had no fear. He was like, I don't care if you're nursing, I don't care if you're whatever, do like 14,000. You know who I'm talking about. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
friend. He's like, whatever. Like, get over it. And then his son was like, oh no, like you need to take this, you need to be taking cilantro, you need to take chlorophyll. Like his son was the control the outcome guy, right? Which
Mhm.
I respect. I'm like, that
Yeah.
was me at one point in my life. And I think it's great. It was like, take the binders, take all that.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then it would be like, okay, well, I am nursing, so let's figure that out. But the other thing is like, think about that logically. There's no way that at least what you put up your butt with a coffee enema initially could migrate into the milk ducts. It's not going to happen. It's a closed system. Like,
I don't think that's true.
you don't think it's
Because
true that it's a closed system?
well, because you have the circulation going through, the lymphatics going through
Okay,
as well.
true.
So like we always have
Okay.
that. And so from what I understand about the detox is that you have phase one, you have phase two. Like the thing that's amazing about coffee enemas is that it's addressing both phase one and phase two. It's addressing the release from the
The
liver.
colon straight away. You're talking
And
about phase
then
one straight away, correct? I want to make sure
phase
I
one is the
understand.
release from the liver. So like that, this is where a lot of people get hung
But we're
up in
talking
like,
about out the colon, the release initially when you do the coffee enema is what I'm saying.
well, it's out the colon, but it's also the glutathione that it's making your liver produce. The glutathione
Yeah.
is like the carrier taking it out. So that's kind of the
Yeah.
beauty of it. And that's where people get, and I put myself into this many times, was like, oh, I should take a detox, whatever it was. For me, it was like essential oils. And I would do way too much because I wouldn't account for the fact that my body was already doing it. And I wasn't definitely
Oh,
thinking
you're
of
saying you were
detox.
taking something to enhance the results.
Yes, and that's what I think Lindsay was saying that she had done. Oh, but
I
she did
see.
mention some binders and stuff like that.
I see. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, listen, our bodies are crazy. Like I understand that they're amazing, and that makes sense to me.
Mhm.
On the realm of Herc's reactions, it is interesting. I have personally never had one. Only, well, okay, but because of the frame of I'm not afraid of symptoms anymore.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have done coffee enemas, and I have had nausea. I have
Mhm.
thrown up. I
Mhm.
have had, like a postpartum fever. Like I've had several things go down that are reactions,
Yeah.
but I don't frame them in the fear of the word Herc's reaction. Like something goes in and then suddenly your body's like reacting. And then another thing that I think is not taken accounted for is like the force that we do. And this is just something I'm toying with. Like the force that we do. Like, okay, I wonder how many people before they take their supplements, before they do the functional medicine protocol, before they do this and that, actually are like one in touch with the fact that it even could be emotional because your body would start screaming that symptom to give you that message for one. I mean, that's like German new medicine, right? Like that your body would have like the epicrisis. Isn't that what that's called? Um, two, like how many times have you done it because someone else said to and it actually wasn't your timing to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Oh,
question that.
yes.
Like I'm like, wouldn't we
Yes.
have a negative reaction, almost like a side effect, like an effect, if you just did it because and it wasn't the right timing? Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Or even just like the protocol hopping or coming to your supplements like, oh, I need to, I should, I have to take my whatever little
Yeah.
pill or else
Or else
like,
I'm dying.
yeah, well, yeah, because I really did have that. And I would have a lot of guilt when I didn't do it. And when I would have like, and then when I started even just like, I don't do this every time, but it kind of made me step into or like understand kind of what I think you're getting at. I started muscle testing like at the beginning of the week, I would muscle test my son. I had a million essential oils. I would muscle
Yeah.
test my essential oils on Sunday. I'd spend like 15 minutes going through each one. Anything that I leaned forward for went one or two drops in a roller bottle. And it showed me like how often I didn't need, I mean, obviously you could never use all of them, but that like my body was changing each week with what it needed and what it was asking for. And it was so clear. And I felt so much better. Like I was getting more out of those things because of that timing that, and you could do the same thing with your supplements. Like timing is important. Time. Yeah.
Well, I love that because you're not idolizing who you were last week, right?
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
like tearing down the idol. It's like, I mean, a 30-day protocol should change. You know what I mean? I mean, not maybe a 30-day protocol. I mean, I'm saying it's different. Like if you have a general lifestyle that you love, I think like everything there becomes license in all of it. But it's like these people who are like, I'm 90-10, right? Like I'm 90% healthy, I'm 10% not. Like that's actually kind of ideal. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of
Yeah.
like the way we're supposed to be. It's like you should enjoy. This is
Mhm.
my thought process. I think if God created this realm and God wants to experience life through us, you should be able to experience life. I'm not saying
Mhm.
hold yourself back from that because I think that's cool. It's
Yeah.
like running at the adventure of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without all the have to and all the should. But then there's also this like place where when it comes to supplements and how you do them, that you have phases that you need them. So for example, I quit taking everything last year as an experiment. Well, I'm like a whole year off. I mean, I still have magnesium, potassium, my 6 minerals, and I've got that PDF done. I did it on the drive home from Chicago. I have those, I keep those, but I kind of stopped idolizing it. So I went longer periods of time. Like I would be like, oh, there's some vitamin B, need to throw that in my mouth, or oh, there's those minerals, you know? Well, here I am postpartum, and this is my second baby in, a 2-year time period, and my hair is like falling out. So I'm like handfuls. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair's falling out in handfuls. So like, yeah, I probably arguably need some stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, but I didn't need that same protocol all year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Every
Yeah.
day, all year, I didn't need it. Like in postpartum, my hair was like, I'm sorry, before pregnancy and during pregnancy, my hair was like super thick. Like it was like super thick, gorgeous. It's gotten long, and now it's like totally falling out again. I mean, my eyebrows aren't falling out though, so I'm like, whatever, it'll probably slow down. But my
Yeah.
point
It's
is
probably
like,
maybe the transition.
yeah, there's nothing
That
wrong with like
postpartum.
supplementing. There's nothing wrong with adding supplements. I mean, it's not like they're wrong. It's like we just need to figure out and be mindful when we take them. And I mean, I
Mhm.
would love to hear your take deeper too, even if it's like your thoughts on reactions because I personally am still always toying with this Herc's reaction thing. I think I get asked all the time. I just got asked by a client, if I run the methatherapy right now, will that cause somebody to have a reaction? Will it cause a symptom? Because this client specifically deals with anxiety. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, probably. Like we're hoping for a shift. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right.
I'm like, so, but like it's the way we frame that, right? In fear. It's the way we frame
Oh
that.
yeah,
Like she's like, will that cause a reaction? And then it's interesting. I said, is there a reason why you wouldn't like, is there some kind of condition where she wouldn't need a symptom right now? This person happens to be in college. And she's like, well, she's in class. And I'm like, okay, maybe we don't give her a possibility in class. Maybe we wait till she's in her dorm. Like
yeah,
that makes sense, right? We're only talking
yeah,
about a 2 hour delay, not like a delay right now. I mean, this is just
yeah,
for the mind because this girl can't protect her energy from external influences. So I
yeah.
don't know. The concept of host reactions, I think, are more timing based.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm hearing and what I'm taking away is like when I talk about Herc's reactions, like I have taken my fear away from it and I approach it from a
Yeah.
realm from the perspective of my body is doing something already. It's doing something without me telling it to, I don't have to tell it to detox. It's already detoxing. I don't have to, and the stuff that I have, that I use daily is probably also doing things like I use essential oils for deodorant. And sometimes I forget that and get into this should, and like I said, I keep saying, it was just such a revelation when I realized like, oh, I'm carrying an unforgiveness for myself, and that is leading to this should do, should do, should do, should do. But
Interesting.
what I could do is just forgive myself, like forgive that 16-year-old who just didn't know any better, and like don't get into like all of the whatevers. I mean, I had no problems with so many of the things that you would typically think of as problems like for a high toxin person, but when I do have like some kind of reaction, I'm not approaching it from like a fear place. I'm just like, oh, this could be on the occasion that I have a headache or the occasion that I'm really not feeling good. It could be, I do think back to like, okay, wait, did I do something a little extra, or did I release something emotionally? And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that, I'm just curious about like, what is it in the effort to like help myself be more comfortable? Um,
You teaching me about German new medicine has been a game changer because we all went through that sickness, like that crazy sickness for 2 weeks. But I will say, I actually had it the least. I was like 2 days down and then up, and like my stuffy nose and sinus mucus was like maybe 4 or 5 days. And then once that was done, it was like done. Like it was like gone. And it was interesting because everybody else in my family had this like insane down with it, like all my kids and all this stuff. And I was like, the reason I wasn't, I think I know, was because one, I was so focused on like, okay, this is very emotional, spiritual. Like, what's going on? Like, I was like, I could just tell. Like, I had like muscle tested it. I was like feeling it. And I'm like, I'm not actually like I wasn't struggling with the same thing that everybody else was, is what I mean. Like I had reconciled what I thought it was within myself.
Yes. What do
You
we
know what I mean?
persists?
Yeah. So I had like reconciled that and it was like, oh, this is like for my husband and kids. So it was like fine. It was so interesting because I'm like, when Lindsay was talking about her blocked nose in the group, I also, and this is not directly to Lindsay, but I have clients who they'll call me and say, I need some acute care. I have a headache. And sometimes I just want to be like, okay, well, it's just a headache. Like, I'm so happy to like support you with bioresonance, but like, not everything needs to be also just constantly in your feels and that. Like that's one of the reasons why I started, and I'll say it again, I probably said it on every one of this video, to avoid that stress and overwhelm that should be healing, should be doing the work, have to be healing thing, and to cut down on what I thought would be cutting down on reactions and my own control and force and stress. I literally started every morning praying and asking the Holy Spirit to show me what I need to see today and make the rest none of my business. And like, I just now I've been literally praying that for 2 years. So the posture is like all right, whatever's coming into my awareness, it's obviously for a reason. And everything else, I'm kind of like, whatever, out of sight, out of mind about until it comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people, because they were raised people pleasers, or they were raised in environments where they were not allowed to have that space, or maybe they were parentified children. I just had this conversation over the weekend in Chicago with a very good friend of mine who's a holistic provider who's on the trip. They never had that space. I mean, that is a crazy concept to put in place. Like we were just
Yeah.
trading stories this weekend. My friend, she's like, I had two kidney transplants. This is for real, and got on dialysis. And she's like, because I mothered my parents and I was always afraid one of them would die. And I was like,
Wow.
how wild. I was like, I had an open heart surgery and got a pacemaker insertion because I was brokenhearted over my mom's trauma that wasn't even mine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, how does a 3-year-old know about a sexual abuse? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's brought into their biofield. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was so
Yeah.
interesting how we were like trading stories about that. And I just got all this like revelation about how much we like, yes, your symptoms are emotional, but there is truly like a life process, right? And timing to where when they hit you or when they need to be processed. Like, I don't know, all of us in the holistic space, I feel like, and maybe this is just me, but we're getting very into like prevention perfection, and it's driving me crazy.
Yes, yes. Well, feeling like a failure when you do have a diagnosis, feeling like, but there is a gift within those things. Sometimes, yeah, you're seeing exactly what you need to see, and learning to distance yourself. I
Well,
wanted to
I'm
talk.
like, no, let's not run ourselves into heart problems and kidney stuff. Let's just do the like micro level living in alignment, right? Like I'm like, dude, these people, like, we're like, it's so funny. Like I said to my client this morning, I said, what are we expecting here though? Like, are we expecting to eat a food and like never ever feel bloated? Are we expecting like a symptom free existence? Like, because I'm like, I've never found it.
No.
I mean, I know I founded a practice called Living Healed, but I'm like, I've never found like a symptom free life yet. You know what I mean?
Well, the healing is in, like you said, not being afraid of the symptom and not being
Totally.
like knowing that you have some control over it. In some cases, you'll be able to turn it off. You can turn things off with your mind. Sometimes
Yep.
you can't. Sometimes maybe you're not meant to. Sometimes there's something deeper to look at. Sometimes there is something physical going on. Sometimes, and it's just like, yeah, knowing that your body will handle it, that you can handle it, that you can handle the dancing and a drink once in a while, alcohol once in a while. Like when you were talking about living, I was just like,
Drank in
yes,
Chicago,
I
girl.
am never going back to the super restrictive diets. I am never going, or not like for a permanent situation, I'm never going back. I never actually really did get rid of alcohol completely, but I'm just not buying into like, you can never let a single sip pass your lips. So like, no, but I'm going to be smart about
Yeah.
it.
We went to Chicago and we tied one on with the girls one night, like kind of late, which is fine. When I tie one on now, because I quit drinking 6 years ago and haven't, I mean, in that total time frame, I have had 5 total drinks. Okay. So my tolerance is like epic. Like I'm the best. Like if I go, I can get like a buzz on with like one White Claw, which I'm like, this is great. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I'm like, that's just enough dehydration for me where I'm like giggly and fun. Like, cause I just don't have that
Yes.
need to like, I'm not trying to zone out with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was funny. Like we went, when we were in Chicago, like speaking of being symptom free the next morning, I intentionally was like now I intentionally put myself in the fun of the experience, right? I think that's like a big deal. Like I was like just looking at Lindsay's stuff and like we can get in the drudges really quick. Like the
Oh
drudges
yeah.
of motherhood. I mean, I think you were saying that have to thing. We talked about this last week. The drudges of day to day, like even like coming home from Chicago, like I was getting like super negative. Like I'm like, because I just don't want to go back into my real life. You know what I mean? Like it's just fun on vacation. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's weird because, but we have to do it with that. mentality of just being in the radical present because I was literally like that in Chicago. Like I wasn't for once, I wasn't like, oh no, if I have a drink, I'll be terrible tomorrow and I won't be able to get Jane ready and everything will be a problem and I'll be hungover. Like I wasn't, I mean, I know I'm gonna be hungover after one freaking White Claw, but I'm like, like I wasn't amplifying it with my stress, which I do think has happened for me in the past with things like
Yeah.
coffee enemas and stuff. I've like amplified just in my own anxiety, right? Or
Right.
amplified some sort of reaction. And the other thing is, I'm like, I can actually just like laugh with the girls and have a blast and get up in the morning and drink more water and just move on. Like I
Yeah.
literally can decide. And like Frank was telling me, he's like, it was so funny because I was with a very, you know, crowd of like pilfernil, which is fine. Like I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I don't judge anymore. I'm just like, whatever. I'm over here doing me. And it was hilarious. Because he's like, did you have fun? I'm like, I did. Like I did not think that I would have fun, but I'm like, I literally had a blast. Like I'm like just being like flexible and not so in control for me is
Mhm.
so much fun. Like I'm
Yeah.
like because I function that so much of the time. Like I mean that's how my job has to run. That's how life with six kids has to run. Like that's how a custody schedule has to run. Like I'm like I forgot that everything can't be like that. And so we were just like talking about that. But Lindsay was asking about her blocked nose. I just want to refer really quick the Ina Siegel book, and then before we wrap this up, I want you to briefly touch back on the coffee enemas and the detox phases and stuff because I think a lot of people don't understand that what these things are. So minerals, coffee enemas, eating better food and removing food. It's like I think about it as like the body, it's like you're either disrupting or fostering, right? Like you're either disconnecting or connecting. And so if you think about it as like this pathway highway, which is what helps me, like for your mind is connected to all your organs, right? This is why all these nervous system people are making $1 billion because that's real. Your nervous system, your mind, it's all connected. I think of like whatever you're putting in or out is either building that pathway or blocking it. So it's either opening it or closing it, right? So it's like alcohol, it's closing a pathway because it's dehydrating, but it can also be opening a pathway because, you know, it can create some stress relief. Like this isn't me saying that, that's just one example. So I just want you guys to
Yeah.
understand that it's not even just the good stuff that disrupts pathways. It's like all of it, your entire life experience. Like, so that's why when people would ask me about food sensitivity testing, I'm like, it's not that accurate because if you got in a fight with your husband, your entire pathways are jacked up. Like your mind,
Mhm.
depending on where it was at, is for sure not going to rest and digest. It's going to be sending all kinds of whack signals to your body. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I just want you to touch on from like education standpoint, like what you mentioned about detox because I think even a lot of people have been sold these ideas like you said that you have to somehow control the body that you have to be
Mhm.
God in the
Yeah.
body and you don't have to be like the body has all these processes and all it's doing is taking in information assimilating it and kicking it back out like if you simplified it write down everything you're doing in this life experience is information in what do we do with it information back out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love like the posture, like you're saying, the posture, and you've repeated this before I start because and I like the language is like what are you coming to this whatever you're doing with it. So like people will ask me how often do you do talk coffee enemas? I'm like I do it whenever I damn feel like it. Like
Every day.
sometimes I will go yeah, I have done months where I did like because I felt like internally motivated to do
Yeah.
like a really like almost like a fast or like a devotion to myself and my own where I did a coffee enema almost every day. I did four and then immediately switched over to doing them every with a few weeks in between. And I'm like
Yeah.
you and that was because I wasn't but when I had first started, I was like, I gotta do it every day. I gotta do blah blah blah. And it was a totally different mindset in those two experiences that I feel like I get so much more out of it now. So just briefly to describe the detox pathways of the body is that well, we have many of them. We have the lymphatics, we have breathing, deep breathing. How many of us are just like taking the time to breathe deeply throughout your day.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. I'll raise my hand with that one.
No.
Sweat, the bowel movements, and they all kind of play together. So when you take an herb supplement, like protocol to do a detox protocol, most of the time what you're being sold is something that releases something that the liver has maybe collected, or just the liver is filtering something out. You need a second phase where it grabs those things that the liver has released, takes it out of your body through the stool, through the skin, through something. So that's why I like coffee enemas, is because that's such an easy, open pathway out of the body. If it doesn't move out of the body, then it will recirculate through the blood. It's like, oh, okay, we're going to try again. But it's going to kind of feel crappy along the way, because it's just you've released more than the body could handle at that time.
You need a
So
second cellular process.
yeah, so that's where the binders come in. The bentonite clay, that's one of my favorites. Activated charcoal. Sometimes I'm kind of on the fence whether I think chlorophyll, like those drinks like do it, because I know they have a detox property, but they also can grab and bind too. I have had some times when I've used that and it's like helped my body grab something to take out.
I know. I'm getting like, I mean, hey, I'm deep in the study of it all the time because I mean, this whole thing with like parasite cleansing and this and that, it's just like you can't have the device I have and believe what we've been told. It's like
Right.
only because they're there to clean up and bind as well. So if your
Yeah.
parasites are there eating heavy metals, don't you want them there? Like I'm kind
Yeah.
of like in this whole mindset of like the reason that I like to open the liver pathway is because I have seen radical results with the emotional side of things. Like,
Yes.
and I will say, and the liver is the mother of the heart. So for me, I got really into coffee and I was trying to restore my heart rate, which has been successful. So I'm like, as of like 2 weeks ago, I literally had my pacemaker reprogrammed because it was starting to jump out of my body, which was so wild. Such a crazy thing. Yes. Oh my gosh. That's like a whole story that I'm sure will have to be like a whole entire podcast. But like it is interesting. I had a client the other day. She's been doing coffee enemas every day ish. I mean, she'll skip a day here and there, but every day for like about 12 weeks. And that's a long time. And she had like 50 years worth of work to do. And her husband in her life, right? So, I mean, hey, it's like the longer we go on in a pattern, it's like sometimes you need longer to release it. Like that's why I love customized approaches. But anyway, she was like, I cannot believe it. It's like I'm an emotional basket case after starting coffee and emotions. It's like I'm just like in touch with all these emotions. And she's like, I honestly did not believe you at first. I did not believe that that was going to happen. And she's like, didn't even think I would blame the coffee enemas. But she's like, recently I was thinking, like, is it these coffee enemas? Like, should I stop doing these coffee enemas? I had another client who was like, I know the coffee enemas like spurred this like pneumonia that I had. I'm like, it's so interesting. Yes, detox things can be a catalyst for opening pathways and a lot of places. The lungs, the liver,
Uh-huh.
the heart. I mean, this is what I wanted to talk to you about because the way I understand it is the liver is like the control center of the body. So the liver is like it's like your supercomputer. I think of things in terms of computer because my background's like tech. But basically, it cleanses and filters your blood every night, right? For you. And it cleanses and
All
filters your
day,
blood
every
every
day.
3 minutes. It cycles
Yeah.
through. And so it really does deep work overnight. I mean, it hit me the other day. I told my husband, I'm like, wow, isn't it interesting that circadian rhythm gurus now can help everybody? But it's not shocking because all of your body's detox processes and processing systems happen overnight.
Mhm.
Like starting with pancreas and gallbladder gets started about 10 p.m. and then all the way to like it goes pancreas, gallbladder, liver, lungs, and bowels until
It
7
starts with
a.m.
triple warmer. Triple warmer is like the
Yeah,
lymphatic. So like
right.
that's
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that was lymphatic. So, oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, so let's throw that on there. So that's like 9 p.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
They all literally start in the circadian clock in traditional Chinese medicine. And by the way, you guys can look that up on Pinterest. At some point, maybe I'll share my module with you guys in this group about how to use the Chinese 24-hour clock because I find it very beneficial. If I'm getting tired during the day or a symptom at a specific point in the day,
Oh,
it's
I have a
awesome to
graphic
look
for
at.
that. I have
You
one
do?
for the
Okay,
black
yeah,
and
yeah,
white.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just like tiny. It's awesome. I keep it on
yeah.
my phone. So anyway, I just was like, woo, epiphany, like that because I always when there's a new trendy guru packaging up like a $10,000 solution that I'm already like, yeah, yeah, no shit to, I'm like, why is it working so well? That's always my
Yeah.
question, you know what I mean?
Marketing.
And like interestingly enough, that is something that I want to pay more attention to is my own light health. That's something that I've gotten away from, which is I'll admit I'm not in here looking like the red light district at night. I do a lot of work at night because I have little kids. And so it's something I'm either going to like reframe or figure out. But I think it is something to do with my weight as well. Like I think it's something I could change to get a shift.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's so interesting. And of speaking of the liver, so it's all your processing systems. It's like if you stimulate them, it's going to stimulate thoughts as well. So I always tell
Mhm.
people during coffee enemas and during taking your supplements and during your therapies, if you're sitting there victimizing yourself to them, like if you're in the have to, the should, the shame, blame, judgment, you cannot get the curiosity, awe, and wonder. You can't.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and you just literally cannot. So if you posture yourself, you're in control. This is why. Like, I think people psychologically need to understand. If you are in curiosity, awe, and wonder, you're asking God to download you the answers, right? Like that's seeking. If
Hmm.
you're in shame, blame, judgment, you're in control. That's like you're like, I got this. I'm in control. Like this is and there's no going forward there. Like
And
none. So
the thing I want to underline with this is that you always are posturing. And I used to say you are
always.
always doing magic. You are whether you are doing it on purpose, whether you are
Yep.
praying on purpose, whether you realize that you are always doing it with your thoughts, with your words. So when something comes up that I don't want, I'm just like, thank you, God, for showing that and releasing it from my body. Like, I don't need to think, I literally do not need this memory of like the fight I had about the locker in high school. Like, I don't need that anymore. Probably like for the rest of my life. Like, I mean, I
No.
don't know what exactly what's going on in my life, but I think it's safe to say I can just fully let that go. So
It's so
yeah,
funny that
being
all this high school stuff's coming up.
I know. It's just
I
funny when
love it.
this stuff like I like look at it. Well, it came up like last year whenever I was sick. Like I started having all of these things come out, and I'm like, this is hilarious. So maybe I am like going back and just like repatterning or
It's
something from that.
great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Like I'm like nothing like I mean, you have a kid that's going into high school or that already is. I can't remember.
He's not in yet. Yeah, he's got another. He'll be in eighth grade next year, so he's got another the rest of this year and
Oh
next.
yeah, okay. So he's like, I
Not
forget,
that.
he's like 2 years younger than Lady. Well, I mean, I know for sure that our life experiences when it's like it's almost like God lays that path out before you need it. We just often miss it. Like we often
Hmm.
don't step on that path until we're in the crisis because that's what pharmakia teaches, right?
Hmm.
Like, I mean, this is getting deep now, but pharma's like basically you don't come in until you're dead. You know what I mean?
Your
Like
labs look fine.
yeah, like it'd be like right, like you look fine, you're normal. I mean, until you're at a stage 4 crisis where you're vulnerable and afraid, and now you need to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars in your life savings to get saved. That's
To
the
be
mentality
poisoned
there.
to be saved.
Right, right. Yeah. Yes. So that's like the mentality there. So, the emphasis on prevention is very clear cut, not there. But I think God is always paving the way for opportunity and abundance, right? So this is something I'm like dealing with my own high schooler too. Like it's funny, like I have a high schooler and even before this, I'm like, and I have like, just marriage stuff and other stuff that come up and I think like now I'm like more aware and I'm like, oh, like thank you for the timing on that. Like so I literally did just tell a client, I'm like, it's interesting when these people, these gurus say, go revisit all your trauma. It's like, huh, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, okay. But like, there's certain times that things need to surface that make more sense where you would resonate with them higher. Like you would get
Mhm.
it. You know what I mean? Like, so it just may be like that for you. I don't know. I'm not like diagnosing your situation. I'm just saying it's been interesting for me because there are times with myself where I'm like, why is that surfacing now? And it's because I'm in it with my daughter trying to parent it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I'm in it with my husband trying to live it or something like that. Look, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's interesting how, like we talked about the Herx reactions, I often wonder if sometimes they feel so negative to us or so stressful. And if we are living a life that's like in a posture of like timing and what God wants and laying down that control and that masculinity, right? Like I am toying with the ideas behind that and just looking at data with my scan. Like I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that
Mhm.
I find it interesting how, gosh, as humans, we want to put so much of this stuff in this tiny little box and package it up where we can understand, but then it's like not really that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So okay, well, detox is that is great. I'm like coffee enemas, that's some new understanding and wisdom for me for sure. I mean, I did know that they stimulate your glutathione, but I didn't understand how they like what happens that needs to be bound and then carried out. Like that's a good thought process. I think that's
Yeah.
good too for so many people who are afraid that when they do a coffee enema, all these toxins just like little monsters just get out in your body. Like I feel like it was the most genius move creating a COVID brand of a virus. Like I'll just say that. Like because now every time I picture like a reaction or a parasite or something, I have like that marketing burned into my mind. Like I'm like it's almost like like little, you know what I mean? Like little
These
monsters that
computer
just
generated images that are not in
yeah.
reality. Yep.
Well, it's like little
I was
monsters
just
that like get out, you know what I mean?
well, I was also going to say the thing that not to go like deeper because I know we're both trying to get off, but like
I'm fine.
the um the colon, you know how the feet and the hands and the ears all have reflexology?
Yeah.
The colon does too. So
Yeah.
for your client, if she's got pneumonia in the lungs, she may be getting like kind of some clearing coming out of the transverse colon, which is where the lungs are connected to the colon.
Connected by fascia.
They're connected by fascia because like when we're born, we get or not born when we're conceived, like we have as those that little embryo starts out with like a little tube, and you know you've seen it, it looks almost like a seahorse, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
All of our everything, our organs, our arms, our all of our appendages come out of that bud, that tube, and then that tube goes on to be our colon. So it'll like curl up, and so like
Wow.
everything, yeah, everything has that connection to the different areas of the colon. And there was a guy that actually mapped out the different sections and like where's the thyroid, where's the blah blah blah. So
And are they still physically connected?
no, I don't think they're still physically connected, but
They
they
stem from that. They're
they
birthed from
stem
well, you
from
know
that.
what? That would make perfect sense. That really even more solidifies to me why in the Bible it says that we are crafted from the soil and we are literally soil. Like I'm like that makes
Mm-hmm.
more sense to me because that would have to be the foundation of the build. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, the
Like
gut microbiome.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know to be true that we're made in the image of God, so we're light, photons, water, soil,
Mhm.
makeup. That's like what we are. That's why I can't argue so many things in my life anymore because I'm just like that's like of the modalities that heal, right? Like I'm like
Yeah.
mineralization, light, like hydration. I mean, cure all for basically 99% of your problems. I mean, not straight away. Like you can't do that tomorrow and feel like better, but if you can
Yeah,
do that, what will happen is that you'll raise the vibration in your body and then you'll be able to more highly access the mind renewing. Like I just know that's how it works. I mean, when I was
yeah,
like full of gluten and I call them disruptors, I talked about this at the beginning of the call. When I was full of influences that created disconnect, your vibration gets lower, 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 lower. Like when you reconnect that vibration, you get higher, 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 higher into the crown chakra where you can think, right? Where it's like that mind renewing can take place. And then if you're really high and really not disrupted, that would go out into the biofield, which the biofield is like 8 feet around the body. I was just explaining to someone about how their symptoms work. It's like we're the center, like we are like a pole in the center. And if you
Yeah.
think about harmony, harmony is the center. It's not somewhere over there, which is what we're taught in the
Uh-huh.
Christian church and taught in pharmakia. Like pharmakia
Uh-huh.
is like you're over here, back here, and healing is out there. And it's a
Uh-huh.
straight line. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's so not even true. Like, that's not
Uh-huh.
how we function. Like, I'm like, so I was just telling her the other day, I was like, I have had another revelation about pharmakia because it's true. Like, I was like, we're like the center pole, and then the biofield's like around like this. So when you think about harmony in the center ish, it's pushing outward in all directions, right? So
Oh,
it's
it's
pretty
so
wild.
interesting because doctors used to come to you. They used to come to your home.
Yes.
And
Yep.
now we have clinics that you have to go to. So,
Yeah. Purposely.
yeah. Yeah, on purpose. Like that was
I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
that whole thing is wild. Like the depths of studying pharmakia is crazy. Like I'm like, and yeah, I'm not. We could do 40 podcasts on that. I'm like, I might share this as a podcast since we didn't have anybody on sharing their own stuff.
Oh, Amy's on
If
here,
you
but
want.
she only got here a couple minutes ago.
She just popped on though. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
She missed.
I just think that's so fascinating. Okay, well, anything else Herc's reactions we want to cover? I mean, ultimately not to be scared of them, right? Like not to I mean, Maura, do you think just before we hop off, do you have a client at 12? I just want to ask
No,
some
it's okay.
questions. Um, I mean, do you think we can even plan Herc's reactions? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, but I just want your take. I mean, do you think we can even prevent and should be that controlling about all that stuff?
Well, so I probably put Herc's reactions in their own category compared to
Okay.
like a detox that I might have, like when I had the emotional release, right? And like I had a fever within 24 hours. Like, I think that I think that the concept allowed me to be more mindful of like what my body is already doing and giving it credit for like what it's already doing
Yeah.
and the interplay when I just kind of get a bug up my butt and I'm just like, oh, I want to take some of this tea today, I should drink this tea today, and then later on I'm like, ah, I've got a terrible headache or something.
Yeah.
um just like it helps me remember that those tools are actually really really powerful and should be treated with respect. And I don't think that the goal is to end up in a Herx reaction, but it's also not something to be like afraid of. I actually find that coffee enemas usually help with that kind of stuff because it'll pull everything out of the blood.
That's powerful. So that you think so people think the coffee enemas cause the Herc's reaction, but that's really not the coffee enemas. It's
I don't
really
think the coffee enema, I mean, I have not,
I don't think so either.
I've had responses where I was like, oh, my body is maybe doing a little more work to detox. Like when I first started doing them, I would get tired. I would have to lay down for a little while, but it was like a half an hour. I wasn't out for the day. I was like, oh, okay, something, and it was new to my body, right? I don't have that at all. But if I do drink a tea, and then get a headache, one of my things like, well, if water and food and all of that stuff doesn't work, then I'll go do a coffee enema, and more often than not, within an hour of the coffee enema, that headache is gone.
Girl, same. I mean, that is my go-to. If I want
Yeah,
something processed, keyword being processed, I'm not going to
yeah.
say out of the body. If I want something processed, I am for sure into a coffee enema, whether that's an emotion, frequency, or physical thing. Like I'm like even an experience. Like I mean, that's for sure what I'm into because I mean, it's exactly like you're saying. It's not the coffee enema. The coffee enema builds the body to cope with the reaction. That's why I wanted to ask you that question, get your take on it because and now I'm like, all right, let's divert or let's define Herc's reaction.
Yeah.
Because I do think a lot of people have it's same with me trying to tell people the scale of stressors, right? I'm like, there's micro stressors and there's macro, or the scale of traumas, right? The scale of traumas. It's like we get marketed trauma by Hollywood, right? Okay, abuse trauma, biggie trauma, like divorce, death, abuse, like Got that. Like that's trauma. But there's also trauma like your whole life was curated for you by a mother as a kid. That is highly traumatic, right? Like there's or tiny little trauma like that one time you tried to like speak up, somebody said not to, so now you can't public speak. That's like
Mhm.
minor trauma. So it's like I call it like micro macro trauma just to get my brain around it, but that's not
Yeah.
even that's my made up stuff. But Herc's reaction is like almost like are you're sort of categorizing, correct me if I'm wrong, reactions as well by defining like a Herc's reaction as a bigger reaction, correct?
Well, I'm defining Herc's reaction as like I took something outside of
Okay.
myself. Like I took a supplement, I took an oil, I took a blah 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 that made my body do more detox than it was already doing.
Okay. I got it. So you stepped into the process to expedite it and it did
Yeah, for
something different.
whatever reason, I
Got it.
thought whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um, and yeah, now I'm still toying with the idea of like, oh, a lot of times when I'm doing that, it was maybe from a mode of punishment. Oh, I ate so much, or it's been the holidays. Although sometimes there are times during the holidays, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. But it's always a coffee enema that sounds really good. Like I cannot
Yeah.
wait to lay on my floor, my bathroom.
Well, sometimes during the spring when we travel for dance, I'm like, deep dish pizza sounds good. Like every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But if I have
Every
deep
single time.
dish pizza 3 days in a row, I'm like, ooh. So
No,
like
I know. Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of like balancing and trying to tease through like, oh, am I doing this because I really just feel like my body's giving me a sign that I'm like a little sluggish. I've done a little bit more than I'm used to,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
is it something else? And then I would separate that though by separate like if I like when I had that emotional reaction and release and got that fever, I wouldn't call that a herpes reaction.
Yeah. Okay. So Herc's reaction's like something sort of straight away after doing something to correct the body in your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. Yeah, specifically like around the concept of detox, intentionally trying to take something to detox, take something to push something out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I will say a lot of that is the big buzz is like the detox and the Herc's reaction, taking like TRS or something like that. Like I
Mhm.
often, yeah, I mean, I toy with that idea because people will ask me, am I going to get a Herc's reaction? But I'm also always thinking about how to pitch that to my clients too. And it's like, actually, well, scalar is adaptogenic and some other things, but a Herc's reaction is a it's a good way you're defining it because it's a very specific reaction to a detox thing. It's not just any symptom you get from trying a new therapy, which is I love that because most gurus lump the two together. That's why I'm like trying to break them back apart, right? It's like
Uh,
it's not like, oh, I had a headache, I have a Herc's reaction. You know what I mean? Like I got it.
right.
So cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, that I mean, I think that's fair. I like that's cool. I'm like, you can't, yeah, you can't always. Sometimes I'm like, you probably can push some down, but you can't always predict outcomes on what you're going to react to either. It is just like, whew, a lot.
No. And I think, yeah, being gracious with like letting yourself have the day in bed or whatever you need.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, kind of when you can't, then that's probably when I try out the like, okay, is there a switch here that I can flip off? Like, do I have to agree to this? Like,
Hmm.
maybe I'm not, maybe I'm agreeing to this. Maybe I'm, oh, real quick before we get off, I'm in for the 4 weeks. I decided, like, I think I'm like in the play. I'm in. I'm in. I was on the fence
I'm
for
thinking
everybody
about being really
everybody else.
restrictive with the diet. So
Well,
you
I
can
don't know
be
if I'm in
rebellious if
that,
you would
but
like to be, though. That's your choice.
right. No, I've been practicing. Like, I feel like I kind of got some things in place that I'm seeing some changes, seeing my face is changing. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it for another 4 weeks anyway. But like, I love having this group.
I finally got like, and look, breakthroughs, breakthrough. Like that's fine. I got my wedding ring back on this weekend, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like that's exciting. I have not been wearing my wedding ring in 2 years,
Mhm.
like which is like so annoying, deeply annoying, and probably spiritual. But anyway, I mean, I will literally could do a whole wedding ring podcast on how much my wedding ring finger will break out if Frank and I are like fighting as well, which is so wild. I will get a I will get
Oh,
a rash underneath my wedding ring, like a raw eczema underneath my wedding ring. And I tried like my wedding ring's like a band with like little bitty diamonds. It's not a big diamond with like just the band. It's like a big cigar band with like little bitty diamonds and like holes.
yeah.
And so I try to convince myself, I'm like, oh, it holds bacteria, like it gets dirty. And
No.
then I'm like, no, this is like so spiritual. I would show Frank, he'd be like, oh my God, you have
Separation
like an
anxiety.
eczema wedding ring.
The skin is all about separation.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh my, I could like, yeah, we
We could have
could
a whole nother,
we need to do a whole German New
or we
Medicine
accidentally do
podcast
a
on
2 hour
weird
podcast.
symptoms and break them down with German New Medicine. Let's put that on the books. But
Oh, you know what? I
okay,
actually
I think
started
for the
some
four
voice
weeks,
notes
this is
about that.
my
Yeah.
vision for it. I mean, if you're, I was going to be in or out, but no pressure from you. If you wanted to just like, whatever you want to commit is fine. I still want to have a weekly call like this. And then I want to, I mean, look, follow it or not, stay in this group or not. If this is not for you, leave the group, right? Like, it's fine. I'm saying no hard feelings. If someone doesn't want to participate, I'm not strong arming them into it. I think it's going to be great. I want to do a very restrictive, like no sugar and a very restrictive no gluten and dairy and just see what happens. I want to see how these scans change. This is just for me and I want whoever wants to stay in the group to do it. I want to do where it is like non-negotiable, like the mineral. So you have magnesium, potassium, copper, and gold, and you take those minerals, which is like, look, again, your personal choice, but this is going to be the plan. It's really simple. No gluten, dairy, or sugar. Take those minerals, first thing in the morning I'm sorry, before you go to bed. Sorry about that. Before you go to bed. And then you get up in the morning and we're only drinking water. No Olipop, no sodas, no fancy stuff, no
Coffee.
tea. To God, I'm
I
gonna
know.
cut
I'm
my
like, oh,
tea.
no coffee, but I've been meaning. I know I am actually on a coffee break right
I
now.
was
So
like, is this Lent like extreme? Like, is it just all my Catholic friends are recently talking about Lent, and I'm like, oh God, I'm like, is this just my performance nature? No, this is like my motivation for like summer body. Like, I'm like, I need this
yeah.
fupa like gone. Okay, so I want to do that. And then I want to
Well,
do like daily accountability where I'll be active in WhatsApp to voice note like, and you can give your input on this too, like actual stuff. So if somebody is like daily accountability can look like drop an emoji once it's all done, right?
mm,
Like drop an emoji before bed if you hit all those today.
yeah.
And then if you didn't, then it'll be like ask yourself why not and share why. And I'm
Well,
saying, okay,
I
if
want
your
to.
why is huge, like you do not have to share that. But I'm saying ask
Sure.
yourself that
Yeah.
simple question, why not? And I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to share all the dirty details, but if people want some real breakthrough, like I'm down for giving that. Like, okay, like
Yeah.
why not was because, my mom told me I was like ugly in high school once. You know what I mean? That's a big there's some biggies for me like that. So I'm just sharing my own. It's like, okay, so
Yeah.
I want to actually voice note back like and Michelle kind of inspired me and Rebecca, I want to actually voice note back like here's how you fix that. Like, Jesus showed me how to love my mom unconditionally and release her with forgiveness. I deserve peace, love, and harmony. Or the neuro prompt would be something like, um, I'm Chelsea, only Chelsea, and the opinions of my mom mean nothing to me now.
Hmm.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Like it's real simple. And if you can get in that posture and if you can do that neuro prompt, I promise you that your emotional baggage, parasites, and food sensitivities will clear. Like I've seen enough data on my device now that they will clear instantly.
I want to tack on the
Yeah.
hypnoses that I've given. Like just
Yeah.
alternate one one day you're doing the connection, the next one you're doing the women's circle.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every day, whatever works for you. Like I'm kind of trying to sort out if like one activates me a little bit more and like is better for during the day rather than going to bed. But that I think that would also like that's one thing that I have like really drilled down in for myself for the last week, and that's when I'm really seeing some like heading in the different direction, the better
Yeah.
direction. So
Yeah. Same. Like I'm like, I think we have laid the groundwork that I wanted to lay with High Vibe Waistline because without this work, you can't get the breakthrough with the other long term. Like I'm not saying that
mhm.
you couldn't do a really strict weight loss protocol and lose weight. I'm saying that
Yeah.
you can't get the breakthrough and live your life in a state of healed if you can't sort out these things. Like if you can't understand how your mind is governing you. And so I think that that has been a really productive space to be in. But
Hmm.
I want to layer on like, okay, serious weight loss bullet points with the
Hmm.
work, like you said, with your hypnosis and all that, and just see, hey, how much. And part of it is because next round, I want to know if I do that all the way through. And the other part of it is like, I'm just curious how many people want to get like real serious now that they're aware that the emotions play such a role. I
Yeah.
mean, I know for
Yeah.
me, I want to, that would be like 12 weeks. Like I'm good. So
Yeah.
I'm
I'm feeling
excited.
way more ready for it too. Like at the first, I was a hard no at the very beginning, but I'm like opening and opening. So like, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
well,
like,
nothing
okay,
like March to motivate me. I just need the spring. I'm like,
December.
shit. I like coming up with the resolutions in January, but I'll see y'all in the new year to starting them. I mean,
Okay, well, I
no,
gotta go.
I
You
did
actually
start.
have
I
to do
mean,
a
we've
phone
done
call.
some really good like groundwork here. Like
Oh, I
I
think
am
so.
not knocking what has been done. And I just want for the people who now feel like, okay, I've got a good handle on that.
Mhm.
And I one last thing, and I'll just wrap this up. I mean, there's nothing like some transformation. I went while we were on our 6 hour drive to Chicago because I was being chauffeured and kind of anxious. I deleted like over 16,000 pictures in my camera roll. I know I have like 40,000, you guys. It's like embarrassing. But I literally like deleted and cleaned out half of my camera roll. I'm gonna do the other half this week. But I like going back through my posts was like, oh my God, like 5 years ago or 3 years ago when I was like at the weight that I absolutely loved. I'm like, I was like cooking all the time. And I had like all these pictures of food and meals. And Jane was sitting beside me in the car and she's like, oh, yeah, it used to be fun. You used to cook all that stuff. Like, I was like, if I cooked that stuff, would you guys eat it? Because you guys just stopped eating it. And she's like, no, we didn't. And I realized like some big breakthrough. My kids didn't stop eating. I got pissed off at my husband for becoming vegan, which was like this whole thing that threw our entire house into like food chaos, which I
Uh-huh.
say food chaos. I haven't given anybody eating disorders or anything, but I'm saying like food stress where it was like easier to not cook and get takeout than cook. And so anyway, long story short, oh yeah, that's the other thing. The bullet point's going to be working out using the Better Me app. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Okay, so
Yeah.
anyway, I just want to say I went back through all that. So I want this next phase. I'm going to post recipes all the time and like simple food that I'm cooking. Like, cause I'm like, I didn't purposely wasn't ready for an emphasis on the food. But after doing this mind work and figuring out the root cause of why I wasn't ready, I'm
Mhm.
ready. So, I mean, this is
Yeah.
just my own radical accountability.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
Perfect. Okay, cool.
cool. Well, I'm
I'm
glad you're
excited.
in
I'm
because
really
obviously I
excited.
love doing stuff with you.
Same, same, same. Cool.
Okay. All right, I'm going to post this right now before I jump on with my next client. That way everybody has it. And yeah, we'll see who wants to start. We're just going to keep it in the same group too. Like we're not going
Yeah.
to start a new group. So
No, let's keep it
obviously
on
if
here.
somebody's just really anti, they can exit, but it's going to be fun.
Yep. Yep. Okay, awesome.
All
Yep.
right, bye.
Bye.